Hi everyone, I'm Lindsay Knight and I'm here to teach you the tarot for free. Welcome to lesson 16. In the previous lesson, we learned all about the spreads and just the introduction of the spreads and moving the cards together in order to form kind of a structured layout in order to retrieve the messages. In this lesson, we're going to learn all about the pages, the knights, the queens, and the kings. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to bring you down. And just so you know, there are all sorts of amazing readers out there, and each one of them has their own interpretation of the cards. And for me, I want you to know this is not written in stone. You're going to pick this up and pick this up, and hopefully you're going to create your own groove that will give you a connection with the cards that is unique and intimate for you. So what I've done here is I have the pages, all the 4 pages here, and there should be 4 of them, 4 from each of the suits or paths, 4 of the knights, 4 of the queens, and 4 of the kings. So for me, the pages represent our vulnerable self or our undeveloped self. The knights, more adolescent energy. Whenever there's a knight on the table, you can be sure that there's action around the person you're reading for. The queens really speak of the mother energy, and the kings speak of the father energy. And so here, beginning with the Page of Swords, whenever this card hits the table, and just so we're clear, every single card has a symbol or a definition for you. In other words, every single card means something. And so when this card hits the table, I know that there's a communication issue. Perhaps the person I'm reading for is silenced, or they don't know how to communicate. Or perhaps they're lying, or they're gossiping. So these cards really depend on the other cards in the reading to give you a definite, more clear idea of what it is that they're trying to tell you. But whenever I see the Page of Swords, I know right away there's a communication issue and somebody doesn't know how to speak their truth. The Page of Rods, often this page just doesn't know what to do, so they spin, or they just don't know how to direct their energy, so they may feel lost. You may have a woman who is 50 years old that just, her marriage just ended. She could be the Page of Rods, but it also could be your 12-year-old kid. So just depending on the cards around, again, this is kind of a vulnerable page that doesn't quite know where to commit their energy. This page often will reflect someone who doesn't have a lot of money or is working through their confidence. It can be, you can have a wife whose the husband is the King of Page, and she feels, or the King of Pentacles, and she may feel like the page, where she has no say or no power. So this really speaks about money, and it can speak about confidence or position in terms of how they perceive themselves. This card for me always speaks about a child, like could be a baby, could be our immature self, could be our, vulnerable self. But these are the pages. Knights. Whenever knights hit the table, and there's often where in a reading like 2 or 3 knights will hit. So whenever that happens, you know that there's lots of action around the person you're reading for. For me, this card represents anger. Out of all the cards in the deck, this one for me is about anger. So if this card is on the table, I know either the person is dealing with someone who says nasty things or gets very upset and sort of uses his anger to communicate, or it can be the person that you're actually reading for. But for me, this definitely is a knight that you don't want to mess with. Knight of Pentacles, if this person is very committed, they can be quite helpful. I mean, that's the beauty about the Knights. Like, if they are on the ball, they just are here to serve and be helpful. Now, they also can be very self-serving. So again, it depends on what cards are around them. But typically this Knight for me is someone who is trying to be of service. Knight of Cups, whenever this card hits the table, I know that either the person I'm reading for is being pursued or they're pursuing someone, but it's the romantic Knight, that passionate Knight. This Knight, I mean, again, if he's a very grounded, present Knight of Rods, then he'll be useful. And if he isn't, he'll be a complete distraction or completely out of control. For instance, if you have this Knight and this Knight, then you know there's trouble. So it's, again, just moving the cards around and having this card with that card, it changes everything. Then we have the Queen, and look at her. She looks you straight in the face. Now, this Queen, I find, it's been my experience, that she does more talking in a sense than she does listening. Now, this Queen definitely listens more, but this one usually is quite strong in their communication. And again, you don't always want to mess with her. She's a little bit more reserved than the Knight, but trust me, if she kind of confronts you, then she means business. This Queen definitely is a beautiful listener. She's a support, nurturing energy that whenever she comes on the table for anyone, it almost just makes me smile because I know that the person that I'm reading for at least has emotional support from either herself or from someone in her life. This Queen, she's very driven by security. She's a manifester. She can be very creative in getting things done, but she also plants seeds. Often with this Queen, it may be a new business or she's promoting herself or going to school, but it's where she's a manifester. She plants seeds. This Queen, like, look at her again. If you notice, you have these two that sort of look to the side, and then you have these two who absolutely looking you straight in the face, and both of these ladies you don't want to mess with, because this one here has a great influence in whatever's going on. Now, to be honest, you can have this Queen, and if you crossed her with this, very different, right? You can have this Queen that's here. So you know that this Queen is trying to calm down this Knight. If you have this Queen, well, there's a battle that absolutely would not be pretty, but I can assure you that this Knight may stomp off angry, but he is not going to break through this steel kind of protection. Then you have the Kings. This King, most kings are quite armored. They often are quite stiff in their body, very rigid in their beliefs, no doubt demand a certain amount of respect, but they're hard to negotiate with. Now, this King can be absolutely supportive and loving, and he's there for you 100%, being the King of Pentacles. This King, just depending, you may not even be able to talk to this King and reason with him, because once he's made up his mind, he absolutely has made up his mind. Like, think about it. Here's the Page, here's the King. Do you feel the difference here? Here's kind of this vulnerable self. Here's this guy that just absolutely is like bam, bam, bam. Can you imagine this combination? So it's like, again, just crossing the cards, just seeing how one card can change it all. The King of Cups, oh, I've had so many conversations with this king just to help him relax. He just gets uptight and he loves, and no doubt he's devoted, but he just doesn't know how to express it. And so it's really being able to see, and that's what I love about working with this, particularly with these, I call them kind of like the messengers, right? Is like, let's say if you have this queen and she's here, like, you know that she's doing all the emotional work. If you have this page and this page, then you have a person in your life that's in trouble. Because this is really like just kind of doesn't know where to put his energy. And this lets me know his energy is directed by anger. So again, it's just mixing them all up. And now you're absolutely welcome. What we're going to do, oh, you guys have got to be so excited. You get to have a reunion. We're going to put you all in here. Of course, we have the majors over here. But look at how beauty that is. They're going to love it. And so again, you know, you can just do a couple of cards. You can lay down 9 cards. You can do the Celtic cross, or at least partial. You can do the past, present, future. But it's really just, again, it's about really feeling the combinations of the different cards and how, once you cross them, how different they are. Let's see what we get. There's the Queen. Hello, friend. And so again, it's just using them. There's the Queen. And it's just being able to kind of toss them up. I got a couple of other ones. And there's the Page. So it's just, again, just shuffle, lay them out, see what you get. Do a partial spread for this person, do a partial spread for that person. But it's where the combination of the cards and your interpretation and your connection, that is what's going to take you from a okay reader to one that just rocks. So I want you to mix up the cards with the paths, shake them up, see, and just start feeling the energy of the pages, the energy of the knights, energy of the queens, and the energy of the kings. And this is the end of lesson 16.